All right, quiet on the set.
All right, gotcha.
This weekend, SEC football promo. Take 2. Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your guy, Mr. Fingers, coming to you live from Zagnif Central.
Hey, and I'm Colin P., a brother from another. What it is, Showbiz?
I will tell you what it is, Showbiz. You guys, welcome to this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. But before we get started, do us a little favor. If you're watching us on the YouTube, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. We appreciate you much. And if you want to be a contributor to the show, a little something to help the cause, right down there in the bottom, in the lower third, in the crawl, rolling across your screen is the address for our Patreon page. We got some great perks for those of you that are contributors and regular viewers of the show, because we appreciate you so very, very much. So, Colin, my man, I think it's time to get this show started. What you say?
My man, let's lay the hammer down.
Oh, you know we gonna do something before 2 something. Club Shay Shay coming right at you right after this. Oh, hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls.
What Bama does, what Bama do. They were giving Alabama like Alabama was this, and Alabama didn't lose their 2 stars.
Did not show up that day, or was it
you watch the same?
It's offense more like I've noticed it's more of a passing.
Hey, who knows? It might have been, might have not been. Who knows? But then again, that's why they call it football. I mean,
oh man, that's definitely going on the blooper reel.
When you do that voice, I think of Norbert. Oh my God, we have a dandelion encrusted rib.
Hey gang, how's everybody doing? How you doing? How are you doing? And that means you right here in the front, you over there in the middle, you over there in the stuck on silly corner, and those of you all the way up in the nosebleed seats. Welcome to This Week in SEC Football. I am one half of the show, Mr. Fingers, coming to you from Zagnif Central in the heart of Oklahoma City. And that fella over there, the guy that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway because it's pretty doggone cool. That is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face. I am very happy to be here. It is my favorite part of the game. Colin P. from the DMV. What is going on with you, man?
Hey, man, what it is, Showbiz. It has been a crazy weekend. We'll get into that later on. Now, how about you? You doing all right?
Oh, man, look, I'm doing pretty good. Look, your boy already in the comments. your boy is already in the comments. We might have to have you talk a little bit about your excursion this weekend, getting to hang out with Sean over in at the spot, but we'll get into that later. I'll get back to your other comments in a minute, Sean. Man, look, it's been a crazy week, man. Last week was Mrs. birthday. We had so much stuff going on. This past weekend, I didn't do nothing but chill. The most strenuous thing I did the whole week was making ribs. I made wings. I made wings on. I hadn't made ribs in a while. I made wings and they were delicious. They were so good that I had gotten down to like 3 or 4, and then I was like, "Hey, y'all want something?"
They'll have you FedEx me some in them. Box them up.
They kind of looked at me like, "Well, thank you for offering. Appreciate it." Damn. That's how your boy gets down. For those of you all that are watching this show for the very first time, your boy loves the grill. I used to have a page on Facebook called Shay Fingers where I would post all of my culinary escapades, but I took that down because I was spending so much time turning them when the people that was taking the pictures and trying to frame it just right and all of that stuff. I was like, you know what, that's too much. I just posted to my Facebook page. So anyway, that's all that went on this weekend, and now I'm back to work.
Hey, I had my weekend was the weekend without the B-man, so I had Sunday off. That was my only day off, and boy, did I need it.
Yeah, I heard y'all got down with the get down real good this weekend. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll save that for the 2 minute warning. We'll let you talk about that a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
later. But for those of you that are watching, we do appreciate you. If you are watching right now, go ahead and click the like button. If you're watching us on YouTube or Twitter, yes, we are live on Twitter right now. Go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you are watching on the Facebook, hi, how are you? That means you're already connected, but give us a like and definitely give us a share. Even if you don't like what we're talking about, you can give it a dislike because it's all part of the algorithm. It is all part of the algorithm. And if you really don't like what we're talking about, then you know what? I only got one thing to say.
It's
I
really
love that
hard.
clip.
It's really not hard. I
Yeah,
mean, it's really
look,
hard not to
we
do
got
that with
there's
him.
people doing the Usher challenge now. I mean, never mind that Uma Thurman and John Travolta kind of did it one-handed in Pulp Fiction during their little
Yeah.
dance.
Yep.
See, people forget. People forget. Ladies and gentlemen, today's apparel brought to you by, it's a little washed out because of the light. Let me see what happened if I do this right here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I kill
Digging
something.
ahead
Wait, I
there.
get off. Yeah, I have a lot of light in here. Hold on. Hang tight. There we go. I know y'all don't want to see me that close. Today's apparel brought to you by Zagnif Apparel. It's warm in here. You see, I'm getting a little, that's moisture. That's condensation right there.
You need a water boy, man.
Courtesy of Zagnif Apparel. Huh?
I said that's water boy. It's early signs of the dehydration. You need to drink something, bro.
Bruh, I lost 5 pounds worth of water the other day, and that is no lie. Because I weigh myself every morning. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is weigh myself. Not that I plan to, not that I think I'm gonna gain like 100 pounds overnight, but I just want to see if I'm staying consistent. Like I haven't lost anymore, but I haven't gained anymore. But I lost 5 pounds of water on Saturday.
Oh man.
I was wondering why my head was hurting on Sunday.
I hear you. Me personally, I don't want to start.
Huh?
I don't want to start my day with a disappointment.
you're our special boy, Colin. We appreciate you, brother.
So I've been told.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about what we got going on. We'll talk about the Zagnif apparel a little bit later. But today we are here, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we had the series going on. We are talking about the team of the week, and this week's team of the week is none other than the Tigers of Auburn University. As you all know, they have been for many years considered the little brother to the Crimson Tide. They've had some flashes of brilliance, especially during the Cam Newton years when they won that national championship. But today we're talking Auburn Tigers, and that's what we got. Hey,
See?
Oh man, oh god, that's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, it looked like y'all had a real good time on Saturday. There is for those of you not from the DMV, there is a place called Johnny Ray's Sultry Soul Food. He's moved around a lot because rent is crazy, but they have got probably the most delicious soul food I've tasted in Northern Virginia. I mean, there's some places in DC, but if you want soul food in Northern Virginia, Johnny Ray's is the place to go. The food is absolutely delicious, and they had a birthday party for him on Saturday. And one half of that dynamic duo of the founding podcast of the Let's Talk Football family of podcast, the actual Let's Talk Football podcast, none other than Dallas Cowboy football fan number one, Janae Strother. That hurt my feelings a little bit to say that. Janae Strother and band were there, and they were performing, and Colin and Sean got to link up. They got to hang out, and I think I think Colin is still recovering.
No. Well rested. I'm good. No, it was really, really, really great to see Janae. That girl, I swear, she got some pipes on her. She can sing and put it down. But it was very nice to finally get face to face with Sean and hang out with him for a minute.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Hey, Mr. Spencer, I need to see you. I need to see Kat, and if you can make it happen, I need to see Janae because I think that's all of the family that's in besides Colin that's in Virginia. So it'd be nice to face with y'all. You know what I mean? Forgive me, sir. As I mentioned earlier, my wife decided she wanted Chinese for dinner, And you know, when Mama wants something, that's not a knock on her. It's just, you know, I want to make sure she get herself something to eat. So I'm ordering food for her since I'm gonna be on for about an hour and done. And hang on one more second. Yeah,
Just
welcome to This Week in SEC Football, where you get to watch the host order Chinese food live online.
I was gonna say I could fill in a little bit more. We definitely had a good time. I enjoyed hanging out with Sean and actually Janae and watching her and her band perform. And um, yeah, we kind of had we had a great time there. We had a kind of crazy time afterwards, but I'm not gonna go too far on that. But yeah, it was an interesting night.
Oh, I see my man Bobby is in the chat there. What's going on, Bobby? Hey, look, Sean trying to steal Uncle Shay Shay line. We gonna do something before two something. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something before two something. That's what we're gonna do. For sure. Uncle Shay, look, we ain't having no hot L's. It's all gonna be big W's. We're not gonna eat them like Jameis Winston. We're gonna actually get a fork and knife and eat them like civilized people. We ain't gonna be doing all this on TV. So, having said all of that, let's go ahead and get right into this, man. The Auburn Tigers. Last year was a grand disappointment. And I think that goes that's kind of an understatement, actually. That's a
Yeah.
big understatement. They wound up finishing up the season 6-7.
Hmm.
Okay. 6-7 last year. Very disappointing season. I mean, they came out, they struggled a little bit against West Georgia, Georgia State, where they struggled in that game. It took them down to the final drive to win that game.
Right.
The Iron Bowl, the only time they really showed any real signs of life the entire season, really, was the Iron Bowl against Alabama, which was a shocker because everybody thought that Bama was just going to run them off the field. They wound up taking several overtimes. Got rid of their coach. And then they bring in Brian Harsin. And yeah, Brian Harsin, not a fan favorite. We saw all of the drama and the circus that went on with him during the offseason. They tried to fire him. Sean said he needs to get you a phone charger. They tried to fire him. Then they found out that they didn't have any cause to fire him. And so now here's his coach. Here's what we got. We have a once traditionally proud football program that has always existed in the shadow of the Crimson Tide that really is on the struggle bus. And now they have a coach that essentially is a lame duck. I mean, Harsin's essentially a lame duck. It's show up or get put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's do or die for him this season. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it that it is do or die for Harsin this season. If he does not get it done, they will show him the door. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind they will show him the door if he underperforms this season. The boosters and the athletic department have already made that abundantly clear. So now I will say this is they did make one really big move. They made a couple of big moves. You mentioned earlier about they got a new wide receiver coach, so I'm gonna let you talk about that.
No, actually, yeah, it surprised me, and that was new information I was not privy to. But I watched Hartson's SEC Day interview there, and just to go back a little bit before I mentioned the new wide receiver coach, about the whole scandal or whatever, and he touched on it just a bit. He said we're going to spend too much time on it. He said that it actually made the team closer. And I mean, what else are you going to say, right? But I mean, I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping that everybody just gets their nose down, does their job, whatever. But you can't. I mean, I don't know. Something like that happens. I mean, look at the morale, and how do you just tune it out? But I'm not concerned about that. I'd be interested to see how that pans out. But I did notice, or did get to find out that Ike Hilliard actually is going to be the wide receiver coach.
Yeah, Ike Hilliard, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Florida University, first round draft pick to the New York Giants in the 1997 draft, wound up playing with New York for 7 seasons and finished out the remainder of his career in Tampa Bay. He's coached with the Florida Tuskers as a wide receiver coach, with the Dolphins as an assistant wide receiver coach. Actually did a stint in the nation's capital with the now Commanders as a wide receivers coach. The Buffalo Bills, he wound up back with the then Redskins from 14 to 19, and currently is the wide receivers coach with the Auburn Tigers. They brought him on. His resume is pretty impressive as far as his playing career. In 2011, he was voted SEC football legend. He was a 1996 consensus All-American. He is 5th in career receiving touchdowns with 29. He's 18th in career receiving yards per reception at 17 and a half. And he's the first wide receiver combination in SEC history to have 1,000 yards receiving in the same season, alongside Chris Doering. With Chris Doering had 1,045 and he had 1,008. That was in 1995. He's got some Sugar Bowl records. He's first with the most touchdowns receiving, 3rd highest average per reception, and 9th most in receiving yards in the Sugar Bowl. So he's got a fairly impressive playing resume. All told, 6,397 yards for his career out of 161 games, 35 touchdowns. So yeah, and he was a fairly decent returner. He did 46 returns for 300 yards.
Yeah, I mean, if any of that can rub off on them, if any of that can rub off on them, that'd be great. I mean, he's got the talent to teach them. You know, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he's got tight ends too. I'm not sure. I think he's got wide receiver and tight end.
It just says wide receivers is where he is right now. So that's a good addition. Another addition they brought in Zach Calzada from Texas A&M. Now, Zach Calzada he was decent. He was decent this past season. Might have been a little spotty here and there, but I think this is a good reset for him. I think this is a good reset for him because I think what happened last season was they wound up beating Alabama, and that kind of was the pinnacle of the season. So there was a lot more expectation on him, and then when they couldn't, bring it to fruition, that can be enough to frustrate.
Yeah, any young player. And they did say during the spring game, I mean, like he showed flashes of improvement, and like I think he actually was the MVP, or I guess there's an MVP for the spring game or what have you. But I mean, he was the one that got that, like over TJ Finley, even.
Yeah, and he's definitely a scrappy guy. And I think he's also a good addition. I think along with adding Ike Hilliard. Now, they did have Bo Nix transferred out. We talked about Bo all last season, Mr. Happy Feet. Now he's at USC. Now Bo Nix is out of USC, so we'll see how he does. Wish him Godspeed.
Bo Nix is at Oregon.
Where's that?
Oregon.
That's right. I'm sorry. You're right. Bo Nix is at Oregon. Caleb Williams is at USC.
There you go.
I must got food on the brain is what it is because I haven't really eaten it.
You said Happy Feet, so I mean,
Yeah. Sean, we agree with you. He said that, you're right. Zach did have the kind of year with Stetson where he proved his worth, not necessarily in wins, but in play. And sometimes, you know what, honestly, to be completely honest, that might be just what Auburn needs because the biggest thing that they struggled with was at the biggest position they struggled with offensively was at the quarterback position. You're because if you pressured Bo Nix, he was going to take off running. Like there were no subtle moves anywhere to try and maybe buy some time to get an open receiver. He was just going to take off running, which, as we know, was why Tank Bigsby was going to transfer out until he found out that Bo left because Tank was like, hey, I'm not getting any touches. I'm trying to get in the league too, and dude's eating up all of my running yards.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as a matter of fact, looking at the stats here, I got them right here pulled up. Bo Nix had 2,294 passing yards. Now he didn't have that much rushing. He only had 168, but he got roughed up a lot.
Yeah.
So,
but I honestly think there's going to be a competition between TJ and Calzada. I mean, I I think it's going to be.
I don't know between the two of them, between Finley and Calzada. I'm leaning towards Calzada because he's got the proven game experience. The only time Finley came in was when Nix was hurt. Now Finley would I'll say this about Finley. Finley had all the heart in the Iron Bowl. Like here's this unproven quarterback going in against the Alabama Crimson Tide and took them to 4 overtimes.
Yeah. I mean, Kurt, you were a big fan of Finley, right? You thought that actually. I agree with you. They took too long to put him in. To have him in.
Yeah. And the thing about Finley is Finley kind of reminds me of Rocky, where he's the scrappy guy that's got all the heart. He just wasn't able to seal the deal. Even TJ Finley under center at Auburn kind of reminded me of Rocky, the first Rocky. Okay. Where Rocky took Apollo Creed the whole distance,
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the way I see Finley. But I think it will probably more so go to Calzada. I see more of a skill set in him. Now, Finley has had an entire offseason to rehab and lick his wounds from getting beat up all season.
Right.
They definitely have to shore up their offensive line. Defense needs some work. But that's what I got. What you got for me, man?
Yeah, no, I mean I agree. I mean I kind of surprised you. I thought maybe you would lean more toward Finley, but I mean I do agree with you. Like Calzada's going to probably be the quarterback. They may end up trying to do both of them in specific sets. I mean they may try to play both of them. But I guess I want to kind of know your opinion on Bigsby and Tank. Wait a minute, Tank is Bigsby, right?
Yeah, Tank Bigsby. Yeah,
my bad. But
now Tank he still did manage to have almost an 1,100-yard rushing season. But he only had with 10 touchdowns.
So what I was going to ask is do you think his rushing numbers should actually rise now that Bo's going to be there, right? I mean, you would think he's going to have more success running the ball. You think?
I think so. I think that as long as the new offensive coordinator kind of implement. I mean, because Tank Bigsby is one of those guys. There's many different types of running backs. You got some guys that come in the game cold and rattle off 100 yards rushing, a couple of touchdowns, and maybe catch a few passes out of the backfield for 50, 60 yards in crucial down situations. Right. Then you've got the guys that are just like the guys like Zeus, who just come in and you just hand them the ball and they just grind it out 4 or 5 yards to carry all season. And then you have some guys, and Bigsby kind of strikes me as the guy, you kind of got to get him going. He's got to get into a rhythm. And that's the biggest thing, is that he wasn't really able to find a rhythm all season. He had some standout games, and then he had some games where he was just meh. So, he didn't have any real consistency. I think the OC comes in, gets him set up, starts designing some more designed run plays specifically for him.
Right.
And to keep, let Calzada do his thing, stay in the pocket, toss the ball around. And I hope they're showing up that offensive line, because
I was going to say that all goes back to that offensive line, how much protection they can provide. And how many run plays they call, obviously, to get the ball in Tank's hands. And, if it's, like a short out, like a screen pass or whatever to him. But I mean, I kind of personally, I'm looking for them to probably get him the ball a lot more this year.
Yeah, you're right about that. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're about a third of the way into This Week in SEC Football Season 2, Episode 15. I had to think about it for a minute. Side note. Well, the reason I had to do that is because I was looking through to make sure last night to make sure all the videos were up and running on the YouTube and stuff like that, and all the podcasts were out. Yeah. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't mentioned the podcast at all. We've been doing this for a while. You can find us on Spotify, you can find us on Google Podcasts, and you can find us as of midnight this morning on iHeart Radio.
That's huge.
That's right, your boy. Yeah, so there we go.
Oh man, it's putting in work.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure we get it as many platforms as possible so we can get it to you. So you see the socials up here over our heads. There's the Instagram, there's the YouTube, and there is the Facebook page. down below if you want to be a supporter of the show. There's the Patreon page, and over there, my hand doesn't go all the way. That would be weird if I reached over and just reached right into your screen. Over here in this corner down there, there's the link for the Etsy shop. You want to hit the QR code. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, you have 6 days to get into the sweepstakes. What sweepstakes, you say? I am so glad you asked. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Give me just a second here, ladies and gentlemen, and I will tell you why. You know what?
Zagnif Productions,
in association with Zagnif Apparel,
gives you the opportunity to win free athletic gear. And here's how you do it. Visit the Zagnif Apparel Design Shop at Etsy.com. Purchase any piece of apparel that will automatically qualify you for the August 7th drawing for free apparel. Each purchase counts as 1 entry. No limit on the number of entries allowed. At least 1 lucky winner will win 1 free outfit. That's right, 1 free top, 1 free bottom. Note, the embroidered bomber jackets will not be regarded as prizes for this sweepstakes. July 30th is the last day to enter. So get to the Zagnif Apparel Design Shop at Etsy.com today for your chance to win free athletic gear, courtesy of Zagnif Apparel.
in conjunction with Zagnif Productions, LLC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get over there. Get over there now and get your gear now. There's the website. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Etsy shop now has a full-on website. I guess I'm gonna have to change the little graphic down there. It's no longer, I mean, it's still that one. You can use that one or the QR code, but now we have a www. It is www.zagnifappareldesign.com, given to us courtesy of Etsy because we reached the benchmark in sales. It's not great, but we reached the sales benchmark. So now they gave us the opportunity to set up a www. You don't have to type all that stuff in there and copy it. So you just, and it takes you right to this nice, pretty little website, and you just order your stuff and we ship it off to you. That's where I got this from right here. So, hey, go on over there and grab yourself some merch today. I got one more. And if you win 11:59 p.m. Okay, see, I'm not making any sense. I'm starting to sound like Mike Tyson that one time. My defense is impregnable. My offense is impenetrable. But yes, you can win yourself some free athletic gear.
What?
You can get some free athletic gear. Buy anything on that website between now and 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. Your name goes into a drawing. Miss Ash Swinton is already in the sweepstakes. We got a couple more people right now that have been browsing, said they're going to buy something in the next 48 hours. Your name goes into a drawing. If I pull your name out of the drawing on August the 7th, then guess what? You get a free top and a free bottom. Boom. That easy to do. Want to do this one real quick too. And actually, I'll hold on to that one. But shouts out to our guy, Andrew Faubert from North Sports Dynasty. That was a little clip you see there. Also, a friend of the Let's Talk family, a friend of the Let's Talk family, the Let's Talk Football family of shows. Welcome if you're just joining us to this week in SEC football. I'm Mr. Fingers. That is Colin P. from the DMV. We are talking Auburn Tigers. So my question to you is, what do you think about Coach Harsin? You think this is just a question I'm asking off the cuff. You think he's going to pull it out this year or what?
I mean, like you said, he kind of has to. I said, this is kind of, it's kind of odd to be thrown right in the hot seat. But I mean, it's from his own doing.
Yeah, right after your first season, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just whether or not it's from his own doing, but it's kind of hard to deny. But there's nothing founded. But like I said before, it's kind of, it puts the players and the staff in a tough position right off the bat. It's But from what he said during his press conference, like I said, I don't expect him to say anything else, but he said that this adversity type talk, it brought them closer together. Everybody's buying in. Everybody's just thinking about the football team. To answer your question straight up, I don't think he does. I think he's going. I think he's going next year. I mean, if he's a little bit over 500, I mean, the winning season, if he wins 7-8 games, he still might be going, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think for him, so what do you? Okay, well then let me lead to my next question. What do you think he needs to do to avoid being fired? I mean, short of
Hey,
a winning season and a bowl berth, what do you think he needs to do to avoid being fired?
I'm not gonna say playoff. I'm gonna say 10 wins.
Wow, 10 wins.
It's over, dude.
Well, you know what? They pretty much did show him that he's got one foot out the door. And matter of fact, in retrospect, it wouldn't surprise me if that was just kind of a, hey, look, we just wanted to let you know that we're going to fire you if you don't get it together. Kind of like Big Red in Five Heartbeats holding old boy over the ledge, like he was going to drop him. And he's
Yeah.
like, if you got any questions, my office hours are from. And then he picked him up,
Oh
brought
yeah.
him back up over here. So
Yeah. But I mean, that may be too much. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe 10's a little bit, but I mean, 9 or 10. I mean, you're right. I mean, I think he's got to move mountains in order to have his job next year. You know, and show something. Show them something.
yeah. Sean says here in the comments, says anytime you take Alabama to multiple overtimes, you will have leverage, which is a good point, especially given the fact that they're your in-state rival. The thing that I have to say about that, though, is how much of that was him and how much of it was just the team rallying around TJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's tough to say because I mean, it is Alabama. So I mean, like they hate each other. So I mean, they're going to play. I mean, it kind of gets them to play their best, or at least try to play their best.
I'm gonna leave this comment up here. So we can think about it for a minute. It says if he plays Bama tough or beats them, it'll buy him more time. Do Mr. Spencer? I have a serious question for you. Now they took him to hey, hold on, I'm being serious. I was gonna go Shannon Sharp on this, but I'm gonna stay serious because then I get off on a tangent. They did take Bama all the way to. They took him past regulation and took him into multiple overtimes, which is a huge feat. Given the fact that Alabama managed to win the conference championship, beat Ohio State, and make their way. I'm sorry, not Ohio State, beat Cincinnati, and make their way into the national championship game, and got a Heisman winner in Bryce Young. How, with the mentality, knowing how Nick Saban is, Colin, you and I both know. Saban loses a championship. Saban loses in the playoffs. It's like the Queen of Hearts, and it's like the Queen of Hearts and Alice in Wonderland, off with their heads. Like all season long, they're just slapping. They're just slapping people upside the head the remainder of the season en route to the national championship. There was a whole 2019, and then Saban came back and said, "Saddle up, Mac, let's go." And they went through and they mollywopped everybody all the way to the championship. So realistically speaking, do you think that Auburn has a chance to catch that lightning in a bottle again against Alabama this year's Iron Bowl?
This year? No, not a chance. Not a chance. I was going to pull up a similar situation. So it's like if they beat Alabama, and it took them 4 overtimes to beat Alabama, A&M beat them soundly. I don't. Like, you see the comparison I'm trying to make there? I mean, like, what how is it beating Alabama holding that kind of weight on whether he, keeps a job or
not? Well, I see where Sean is coming from.
I know it's an instant
completely. I see where Sean is coming from because they have shown this guy they've got no faith in him at all. They said we're basically going to hands off. Essentially, what they did, they said we're going to hands off. We're going to let you do what you do this season. And if you screw up, we're gonna get rid of you. It's what the athletic department did to Brian Harsin is the equivalent of your woman going, "No, that's all right. Go out. It's okay."
Right. Yeah,
That's exactly what. Yeah. Now go out. It's okay.
Or baby, what's wrong? I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right.
Fine.
Now Sean is making some good points in the comments. He said you lace them up the same. How much did they have coming into this year? They really didn't. But it's just like I said, lightning in a bottle. It's just like the year that Coach Orgeron, go Tigers, Rallied those boys up, and those guys just smashed everybody in the mouth all season. And then the next 2 seasons they were absolute garbage. And he got cut loose at like week 7. No, they let him play the season out. I think it was.
Yeah, and
they let him play the season out.
I was going to bring up another point. Their schedule. We haven't talked about their schedule yet. So they've got their first 5 games are home games. Did you know that?
Yep. Yeah, I got.
They don't hit the meet. They don't hit. I think we actually might be their 6th game, and it might be in Athens. I'm not sure if it's. I don't think
it is.
It is.
Yeah. Matter of fact, their first 5. Not only are their first 5 games home games, their first 5 games are probably easily winnable, and we'll get into that in a minute. We'll get into their schedule in a minute. But I'm just looking at it. Their first, at least, I will say, at least 4. Was y'all okay? Here we go. See, Sean Spencer. I tried real hard to keep Uncle Shay Shay in the bottle. Since we talk about lightning in the bottle, he said,
"No, you lose one game. That's not catching lightning in the bottle. You go 4 overtimes. That's lightning in the bottle, in my opinion."
Yeah,
they were one of the ones that
by that. Well,
let me the Molly us, right?
Let me answer Sean's question first. I don't think so. I mean, you have to look at what you. No, I'm not being biased. It is a fair question. I'm just giving you a hard. I'm giving you a hard time. You gave me an excuse to let Uncle Shay Shay out. Uncle Shay Shay trying to hang out. Hello, Alan. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you hanging out with us for this week at SEC football. Is that one of your peoples right there?
No.
Okay.
No, I said Sean. I said Sean's the one that brought up Georgia.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You look at the total body of work that Kirby Smart has done at Georgia since he's been there. He went from taking over a team that was kind of on the backslide to taking them in, 2 seasons? The 2 seasons he took them to a national championship. The following season took them to a conference championship. Had a COVID-shortened season with a couple of injured quarterbacks. Came back the following season, and there we are, all the way to the national championship. I think that was a gradual building process. Now, do I think that we're going to be as dominant this coming season? I don't know. It remains to be seen. I think we can. Do I think we will? I'm going to have to sit back and see. I'm not going to say, hey, we're going to beat everybody and run them. I am not one of those social media sports group fans. It's like, we're going to run over everybody. Go Dogs. We're going to run it back to the Natty. Like, okay, I might say that in the spirit of supporting my team, but being realistic. So talking about last year and the dominance, I don't think so, man. I think that was a building. I think that was a building process. Yeah. I see you, Alan. Okay. I think it was a gradual building process that led to that point. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it is rare when you get a coach walk in the door and immediately flip just straight to the championship. That's why I like that whole thing with USC. I think they'll get better, but they're not going to go. I don't think they're going to go college football playoff better right off the bat.
Right.
So do I think it was lightning in the bottle? No, I think it was a gradual evolution. I don't think they'll be as dominant next year. I don't think they'll be as dominant. I do still think they'll be dominant though. And it's a building process. So we'll see. We shall see. To answer your question, Sean, no, I don't think it was lightning in a bottle. Well, go ahead. You were going to say something, Kyle.
Oh no, I was going to kind of I mean, it wasn't lightning in the bottle because we had been there. Like if we hadn't have been there before, like we've been round the cusp, knocking on the door. And you're right, it's a building process, and we needed that luck. Like, I mean, honestly, we couldn't, get past a certain point, and we were working towards that,
Right.
But, I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as lightning in a bottle. I'm just saying, they need to get it a lot. Well, I think they will. Auburn will be better this year. Now, whether they beat Alabama, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it'll be overtime Central this time. I don't think it'll be like all these overtimes for them to beat them. I think Alabama's either going to smoke them or they're going to keep it close. It's going to be, it's going to be like a last second field goal or something if they keep it close. If they're that lucky.
I think, and we'll get into this when we get into their schedule. But I'm just going to go ahead and make that prediction now. I think the returning players are coming and bringing all the smoke and pulling a Nick Rosario. They are bringing all the smoke, as Nick would say. And my friend. And again, yes, they are bringing all the smoke. They're
Oh, yeah.
gonna come. They're gonna come for everybody's heads on that squad.
Yep.
Alan is thank you, Alan. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching this week in SEC football. Hey, look, you know what though? I can't even be mad at it. It did take 42 years for us to
Hey,
win
is
another
that a
national title.
compliment or a dig? I don't know if that'll take that as a compliment or a dig. It's the truth, but either way,
Nah, it's just you know what? It's not. It's. I'm not even gonna take it as a dig. Truth is truth, my
no,
friend. I
it's
mean,
truth.
for many years, Georgia was always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I mean, there's nothing you can say about that. I mean,
We always trying to get in the
how
door.
many times did Mark Richt get the boys to the SEC championship and lose to Alabama?
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's not a whole heck of a lot you can say about that. Uh, yeah, we getting some good comments here. Actually, let me go back and get to some of these before we move forward. So Sean is saying essentially what we did was catch lightning in a bottle when it comes to going to the national title. I think until it gets like Bama going every other year or Clemson going to 6 out of 7, that's continued. I don't know. I think whatever it was that Kirby got, whatever bug it was, whether he got a touch of the Holy Ghost, whatever it was, that lit a fire in him. And now he's like, okay, all right, let's run this back. So I do think Georgia's coming with all the smoke this year. I just hope that the boys are able to keep their heads on tight, not going and expecting
Yeah.
everything. Mr. Alan Crook says if it wasn't for Auburn, Bama would run roughshod over the rest of the NCAA. You see, Auburn is not afraid of Bama, and that is very true. That is a true statement.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing like kick six. I mean, seriously, Iron Bowl is one of the greatest rivalries that you ever want to see. And I'm maybe call me an SEC homer if you want to, but kick
Yeah.
six is one of the top highlights in NCAA football, in recent NCAA football history.
Absolutely.
For me, kick six goes right along with Doug Flutie's Hail Mary, goes right along with Stanford, the band being on the field,
Mm-hmm.
and during the touchdown, that kind of thing. I mean, I would put Third and Ringo in there with that, but that's just because I'm a Georgia fan. But you know,
But we have one too. Don't forget the Tennessee game. Remember?
oh
The
yeah,
Tennessee.
yeah, we got one of those too when Tennessee got us.
Yeah, we
When
got it
Tennessee
bad.
got us.
Oh,
What
like
it was
twice. Remember?
catching lightning in a bottle, huh?
No, we had it twice. Remember the one in the end zone, and then one on the when it bounced off our receiver. There was 2 times Tennessee got it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, you know what, Sean Spencer, you getting ready to be banned from the chat. You keep on. Just keep playing with me.
Is
Talk
he
about
calling all the
Devontae
time?
Smith touchdown. Look, I'm telling you like Rafiki. It doesn't matter. It is in the past. A song that said it's squash banana. Yeah, shout out to the Lion King. There we go. Yeah, and okay. Auburn fan in the building. War damn eagle or whatever it
What are
is.
the Tigers,
Like
the
the
Eagles?
tiger, the eagle. I mean, I'm not clowning. I know the history behind that, but it's a good running joke. It's a good running joke.
Bama too. Are
Uh,
they the elephants? Or are they the Tide? The elephant?
well, there's supposedly something behind that with Alabama too, and I read that history. But you know what? When we discuss Alabama,
Well,
we'll
yeah.
we'll get into that. We'll get into
We got to
that.
hit the book.
Just give me a reminder to get that history because that's what it was. The thing with the elephant was it was a sportscaster that said when they were running onto the field because at that time Alabama was the biggest baddest boys on the field. Like it was Alabama, Nebraska. This is back in the day. Alabama, Nebraska, UCLA,
Right.
USC. The sportscaster said they looked like a herd of elephants running onto the field.
Okay.
And they were some of the biggest, strongest. You know, those Alabama boys are the biggest, strongest boys in the NCAA at that point.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that kind of stuck. Now the thing with the Crimson Tide, I do know that there's due to some kind of algae that's in the water in the Gulf down there because Tuscaloosa is not that far from the Gulf. That the tide does wash in, they get red tides. So I know that's where that came from. So there you go. There's your little
Man, you
history
got
lesson
me.
about
Yeah.
Alabama. There's your history lesson there about Alabama.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Boy, they're going to town in the comments here. We'll let them talk for a minute. We'll come back to some of your comments. We're going to move a little forward. We're going to talk about their roster, and we're going to talk about their upcoming schedule. But before we do that, we want to go ahead and acknowledge a couple of more people here, a couple things here. First of all, we're going to send a shout out to our newest sponsor of this week in SEC football, another member of the Let's Talk Football family of shows. Y'all hang tight. We will be right back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Squid Rips Cards. That is our boy, Sid Swinton, 1/3 of Let's Talk Football Sunday mornings with Sydney Swinton, his wife, Ash, and, of course, the Godfather, Sean Spencer. He's everywhere. He even comes on this show every now and again. And so go by there and hit him. He is at Squid Rips Cards on TikTok. He is live 2 times a week. He is hooking up everybody. He's gonna be like our boy from Rock Deep that's gone out to Los Angeles. Look, we're gonna see Sid on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and Jamie Foxx like, yo, bro, you got me a Bo Jackson freshman year card. That's what's up. Y'all get at my guy. Y'all get at my guy, Sid. So hit him up today, ladies and gentlemen. Moving forward, we're going to talk about Auburn and their roster. Where are we? We're pulling up the roster here. Where's the depth chart? That's what I want. I know it's right here. Boom, boom, boom. Their fall camp starts in early August. Coach Harsin talked about it during SEC Media Day. They wound up going 6 and 7 overall, 3 and 5 in the conference. So like you said, you got Zach Calzada transferring in from A&M. You got Robbie Ashford transferring in from Oregon, and they are competing with TJ Finley. So far, Harsin has had a lot to say about Zach Calzada, saying he's awesome. He's there every day. He's got a great work ethic, attention to detail. Harsin has also said, coach has also said that he wants to establish the line of scrimmage early and use more Tank Bigsby. That answers the question that you were talking about early, to get some good run blocking. Also, the addition of Ike Hillard, which we talked about. He said that he's a presence when he walks into the room, and he's already got those guys up and looking and paying attention. So it looks like they've got, so far, I'm counting transfers in and freshmen. 6, 9, 12. It looks about 20 roster spots coming in either as freshmen or transfers. Looks like most of them are transfers. There was a lot of chatter about the transfer portal and who they weren't picking up. They have picked up a rack of guys as transfers. Strong safety Craig McDonald, nose tackle Jason Jones. They picked up a couple nose tackles. They picked up 2 nose tackles, a defensive end, a defensive tackle, outside linebacker, two wide linebackers, free safety, 2 strong safeties, and 5 cornerbacks. That's on defense. They picked up a couple of place kickers, and a punt returner on special teams. They picked up, like we mentioned, Robbie Ashford, Zach Calzada as transfers. They got Holden Gardner coming in as a freshman. They've got a freshman running back coming in. He's at the bottom of the depth chart, though. His name is Austin Damari. And 3-4 offensive linemen. So they're not looking too bad in the transfer portal right now. It's just a matter of what they do with them. The biggest thing that they're going to the biggest thing that they're going to need to establish really quickly, besides the offensive line, is who's going to quarterback. Period. We already know that Tank Bigsby is going to be the starting running back. We know Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah.
Jarquez Hunter was he was decent. He didn't get a lot of playing time, but he managed to amass close to 600 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he does contribute to the offensive line there, to the offense as a whole.
Yeah.
To the offensive line. Yeah, you gonna put your running back out on the offensive line. Coach, I'm too small. They're gonna run me over. Had to think big, kid. Think big.
Think big.
Wow, our comment section is blowing up. We got 46 or 47 comments in here that I have not been. I can't pull up the comments. I will get to those in a minute. So, what are you thinking based on what I just gave you there from what we got?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched a little bit on this, but I'm saying it all depends, in my opinion, if the offensive line, what they're going to do with the offensive coordinator does with the offensive line, the protection that either Finley or Calzada, whoever's going to take the snaps, what kind of protection he gets, how many times they run the ball, what kind of blocking they got for Tank, for them to score points. I mean, that's the bottom line. They got to score points, and if their defense can kind of hold the opponent's offense to where they can keep it neck and neck. I don't foresee any kind of. I mean, I haven't gone over the schedule, but I mean, I don't see any blowouts for them, as far as that goes. But I think they're going to be improved this year. I think they're going to be better, in my opinion, since Bo Nix is gone. So therefore, that'll open up the chance for a quarterback, be it Finley or Calzada, provided they can stay and have that kind of protection and stay in the pocket a little bit longer than both instead of taking off. Maybe they can make the reads and kind of get down the field quicker and score more points.
I like that. I like that. Colin P from the DMV, y'all. Look at that boy.
Look at the boy. He all grows up.
Boy, you about ready for ESPN. Watch out now.
That's right. I didn't do some impressions, though. I can't do that.
Hey, look. Hey, all you got to do is this one right here. Shut up, Chuck. That's it. That's all you need.
That's terrible.
That's terrible. That's terrible. I'm gonna come on here. I'm gonna say what I want to say, and I'm gonna say it. Auburn wasn't good. They wasn't terrible, but they wasn't all the way good this year. So next year they got to do better. That's my alma mater. That's where I first learned how to eat a Krispy Kreme donut while dunking a basketball at the same time.
Got like the water boy. They give me the football. And whoever gets the football, I tackle him. If we put hands to another guy, I tackle him. But remember when he's talking to LT? LT's talking to the kids.
Right.
To my next thing, don't do crack. Don't smoke crack.
Crack is whack, as the late Whitney Houston once said. Crack is very whack. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to get into we just gave you a little brief rundown on what they got going on this year. As far as their depth chart, it looks like they got a lot of returning starters, though. I mean, they didn't lose too terribly many to the draft. Most of them transferred out, but as you can see, they got, excuse me, that soda got me right there. It looks like they got a goodly amount of transfers in and experienced guys, because a couple of them are already at the top of the depth chart.
Hey, I got a question for you. I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What about their defense? How many people did they lose on defense, and do they have a lot of the same people they had last year?
They've got the majority. Look, they've only got 2 starting slots that they're filling with transfers, and that's Craig McDonald at strong safety and Jason Jones at nose tackle.
Okay.
So they got the bulk of their defense back.
Okay.
And they pretty much got the bulk of their offense back too, as far as the depth chart goes. So they're doing pretty good. The only question right now is, although right now, I know camp hasn't started yet, but right now they got Calzada at number 1 on the depth chart, and they got Ashford 2 and Finley 3, with the freshman at 4. So they're looking pretty good, and they got a goodly amount of transfers. And the second wave in the defense, they got 6 transfers in defensive end. Joseph Morris Jr. at defensive end, Marcus Bragg at outside linebacker, Eugene Asante wide linebacker, Caleb Wooden at free safety, and then English is not my first language. DJ James and JD Rim at in the secondary. So they didn't replace that many parts, but they're really going to have to figure out how to make those working parts come together as a team, like you mentioned. Exactly. You definitely mentioned. So their defense did manage to rack up. Hold on a second, I got that right there. I just closed the window, but their defense wasn't too shabby last year. They managed to rack up, let's see, a total. Come on now. This is why I like printing stuff out, but I'm out of ink right now, and I didn't have time to take notes. Their defense managed to, is that right? 36 sacks for 191 yards lost.
Wow.
So
Against
that's
who?
not that's not bad for a team to finish 6-7, 36 sacks. That's not bad. If you talk about one guy, if you get one guy get more than 5, 6 sacks, maybe 7, 8 sacks in a season, he's doing something.
Yeah, I mean,
That
look at Big
defense
Baby.
racked
Big
up
Baby got
36.
what, 1 or 2, like 1.5 sacks
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, like maybe 2.5 sacks, and one of them I think was in the national championship game. Got it when it counted.
I'll take that one.
I will definitely take that one any day of the week. So let's move on to their schedule. And this is the part where I need my trusty notebook because I take notes because we're going to go back over. It's not even here. I cannot believe this. What kind of sports journalist am I? I got a piece of paper right here. We write it down. So September 3rd, Auburn opens up at home against Mercer. Who you got?
Big win. Big win.
Okay. They got Mercer at home. You got them as a win. I got them as a win. That's a W. All right. Week 2, September 10th, at home against San Jose State. I got them as a win.
Absolutely. I'll piggyback on that.
Game 3, September 17th, also at home versus Penn State. I'm waffling on that because Penn State tends to start out strong, and it's been their tradition that they start out strong and then they waffle out. They have some kind of crazy loss in the middle of the season that just knocks the whole train off the track.
Yeah.
Bold prediction of the week. Bold prediction of the week.
Upset alert.
Bold prediction. Bold prediction of the week. Auburn pulls this one out. They're gonna come out. I think they're gonna come out a little fired up this year. I think Auburn pulls this one out. It's gonna be one of those crazy. It's gonna be one of those crazy, like in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, like 2 or 3 minutes of the game, Auburn's gonna pull something out, or maybe a pick six or a crucial interception, fumble recovery.
Yeah,
something like that.
And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm with you. I think a lot of their games are going to be like that this year. I think they're going to be down to the wire type stuff, unless something a crazy play happens, a turnover, whatever. But I'm going to say Auburn as well, just because it's at Jordan Hare. Because it's at home, they're going to win that game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I got them at a win. Next up, they got Missouri at home. That's on the 24th. That's a win.
Yes, sir.
I hate to talk about Missouri like that, but that one's going to be a win.
Yeah, that's
folks. If you're in the comments, we'll get to your comments in just a second. Those of you just joining, welcome to This Week in SEC Football. Mr. Fingers here, Colin P from the DMV right there. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. Hit us up on all the socials over our head. Hit the Patreon if you got a couple dollars. We actually have a Patreon package as low as $1 a month. That is right. For the cost of, I can't think of a single thing that costs $1 these days.
Oh,
the most even candy. Look, the Dollar Tree is $1.25 now.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll put it like this.
Oh, Arizona tea. Arizona is $1.
Arizona iced tea. For the cost of an Arizona iced tea, and you still have a spare penny, you can sponsor this show for $1 a month. That's 12 whole dollars. Okay, that's about that's a value meal at McDonald's. You never can tell. That might be the one to save your life. All right, keeping it moving. Let's see. October 1st, they play LSU at home. They welcome the Tigers.
Ooh. What you got?
I don't know what Brian Kelly's bringing to the table there. But I'm thinking LSU is going to be improved as well. And there was a comment made earlier in the comment thread that I think that most of the SEC teams will be improved, with possible exception to maybe Vanderbilt, because we know Vanderbilt, just like Bama does what Bama do, Vanderbilt's going to do what Vanderbilt's going to do. Let's see. You don't see a loss on the schedule, Alan? Let's see here.
Don't see a loss on who's Auburn schedule?
No, I'm reading through the comments here. So it's just going through here. Sean got excited over the Waterboy impersonation. Alan says the defense lost 2 DBs, 2 linebackers off a team. It took Bama to 4 overtimes. And that was an impressive defensive. That was an impressive defensive stand that whole game.
Oh yeah.
Allen says he personally doesn't see a loss on the schedule. Sean says Auburn should win that Penn State game. Penn State lost some talent to the draft and the transfer portal. Let's see. So Allen is also saying that Auburn fans will make it difficult for Penn State.
I agree.
Sean's prediction is 31-17, and that must be for the Penn State game. Mr. Spencer, I'm putting you down for that. So when the whatchamacallit comes around, I got you there. Yeah, I do. I agree with you. It's Auburn is a hard place to play, especially when they're playing well.
Yep.
When Auburn is 5-0 at home against Georgia, the fans at Auburn will have the ground shaken. Well, actually, that brings me to the next game, which is we didn't say LSU.
LSU.
You said did you say a win?
I didn't say anything. What'd you say?
I'm gonna lean towards Auburn.
Auburn.
I'm leaning towards Auburn.
Whoo, they're on their way to their 10 wins. Let's see. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know what Brian Kelly's going to bring. Although he did say that his place is in the South. He said that his home was in the South. He said that. So I mean, maybe that little fire, maybe he's got something going with that LSU team. I don't know, but I'm going to go with Auburn.
Yeah. Now here's a good point that Sean brought up. Watch out for the lesser teams, which is a very good point because if you remember their season opener, they almost lost the game. They flew a team in and almost lost to they flew a team in from Georgia and almost lost to them. It took a fourth quarter last minute drive to win that game. Mm-hmm. Now I do think that knowing what Coach Harsin knows about how the administration feels about him, how the boosters feel about him, I think the fans are going to rally behind him. I don't think he's going to make some of the same mistakes that he made last season. Mm-hmm. So we shall see. I mean, right now, like if I were to go back at this and say which one of these 5 games do I think they're going to lose, I still think Auburn could come out of this at worst with 3-2 out of those first 5. But right now, I got 5 wins. Now, on to game 6. Game 6, the fellas from Auburn are traveling east to some team right outside of Atlanta. The colors are red and black. They are the Dogs of the University of Georgia. While I do think that I don't know that Georgia will be as dominant out the gate. I think what will happen is they will get dominant. They still won't be as dominant, but it'll take a couple of games for them to get rolling. Plus that, it's a hard play. Sanford is just as hard a place to play as any place else.
Yep, same deal. Yep, same deal.
I think Georgia wins that one. I do think Georgia wins that one. I'm not going to say that. I think they're going to. It's going to be more like. I think it'll be a little closer because I know we kind of ran away with it last year. I think it'll be closer. I'm still saying a 10-point minimum. Mm-hmm. But I'm giving that, for me, that's Auburn's first loss on their schedule.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of question marks from me on Georgia. I agree with you. It takes a little bit for us to get started, but it's just provided by if our defense. I know it's not going to be as good as last year, but if it's a little bit like it was, it doesn't have to be exactly like it is. But if our offense is improved, if Stetson improved, I think we're going to win the game. And I'm kind of on your side there with a 10-point, maybe a 3-score, maybe a 2-score, 3-score win. But it may be depends on what happens second half. But
yeah. Now here's where that 50-50 principle comes into where our good friend Golden Blue Dude. Shout out to our guy Golden Blue Dude. His principle is that Georgia was able to be offensively dominant last year because the defense always put them in. Like the defense, I mean, Georgia did not have to march downfield a whole lot, like the whole length of the field a whole lot.
Right.
Unless they were receiving the opening kickoff for the first half or the second half, and then Kentucky did manage to put a couple touchdowns on them. So,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. You got an upset for Auburn there, Sean? Is that in the Georgia game? Please let me know in the comments. He said that's it. Sean says he sees it as an upset with 25-24.
That'll be a safety in there somewhere. Or
I
somebody
think,
missing a field goal.
nah, that's more like 3 touchdowns and a field goal, I think. That's what I got, Sean. I'm putting you down for that, sir. Well, I don't know. Stetson played to answer your comment, Alan. He played better against Auburn this year. But again, that was because he didn't really have to do a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, the defense just shut your offense down. So, I mean, the game was essentially over. The game was essentially over halfway through the second quarter. It was just we played keep away for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So he said that, and he's saying they're not going to give up more than 17 points a game. Okay, all right. Hey, look, good on you if you do. I'm not saying that I don't think that'll happen, but good on you if you do. Hey, best of luck to you, boy.
It is the SEC. Right? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen.
We say it every week when we get to talking games. We say any given Sunday, no, any given Saturday, because you never know what's going to happen. Like nobody expected Texas A&M to beat Alabama so early in the season.
Yeah, and soundly.
And so let's see. The following week they are at Ole Miss. The guy that put up 3/4 of their offense is gone. So, and Matt Corral.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what they're bringing to the table. I see this one as a close one. This one could go either way. And granted, Auburn is a cross-conference rival because they're kind of a rival of ours. I mean, the game in Sanford when Uga tried to take a bite out of crime.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to give them a loss, but it's going to be a close one. It's not going to be because of anything they did wrong. It's just going to come. I think that one's going to come down to who has the ball last. And
you giving Auburn a loss?
Yeah. So right now I got them at 5-2. I got them losing to Ole Miss, but not by much. And that one could go either way.
I don't have a loss with them, do I?
Not so far.
Not so far.
Right now you got them. Right now you got them at 6-0.
6-0. This will be our first loss. I'm putting it down.
Okay. Auburn, Arkansas. That
one. No, I got two. Georgia's going to beat them. So I said Georgia's going to win. That's one loss, and then Ole Miss is going to win.
Here's the game we need to look out for right here: Arkansas versus Auburn. You got Arkansas bringing back KJ Jefferson. You got Auburn with a new quarterback and a coach with a new sense of determination. You're talking a mid-season. This is the mid-season stretch, and they will have had 2 weeks off, and they will be back at home. I think they win. I think they beat Arkansas.
You know what? Yeah, I think it's gonna be another close one. But I'm with you. I think Auburn's gonna beat Arkansas, but it's gonna be a close one. I think it is. And again, it's a Jordan Harris. I mean, it's another hard place to play, and I don't think Arkansas does well.
There's only a couple of places where it's not hard to play. Like if you can get by the Cowbells at Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, but just about every place else is hard to play. Florida, Georgia, Kentucky. Kentucky's becoming one of those places. Sean is saying that he's giving the Auburn 28-13. And to get back to your earlier comment, I did say that, Mr. Spitzer, but we don't know at this point. Like I said, at this point, they're going 6 straight games. They got 6 straight games, and then they will at that point be 2 weeks into. They'll be 2 weeks into road games.
Yeah.
So And it's still Lane Kiffin. You know, Lane Kiffin he's gonna have something up his pocket. Hell, they might have mustard bottles in Mississippi when they get down there. Ain't no telling.
There you go. That's one of the reasons why I picked them to win. Ole Miss. Lane will have something for him.
The following week they're at Mississippi State. I'm giving them a win. I don't know what Mississippi State has done. I'm giving them a win.
Yeah, I'm with you. Give them a win.
Following week, this is week 10.
Yeah.
They're at Texas A&M. Oh no, Texas A&M comes to Jordan Hare.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, let's come back to that one. I don't know. Well, what you got? I'm gonna have to come back to that one.
I think it's gonna be like they're back at home. You know what? This will be their third loss. I think A&M is gonna get them.
You think so?
Yep.
Well, we are talking Jimbo Fisher, but
I mean, he has talked a lot of noise, so they better back it up. And I think except against Alabama. I mean, he's got to back it up against Alabama, but maybe he's got these boys fired up. But I think A&M is going to actually beat Auburn. So this will be their third loss in my eyes.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to get all of these charts together because then next week we'll be doing another team. And then I'll be like, yeah, I got Arkansas beating Auburn, and then Sean will be in the comments like, nah, last week you said Arkansas was going to lose to Auburn.
No, you did. Yes, I did. No, I didn't.
Let's see here. Texas A&M. I'll come back to that one. The following week, what did you say for Texas A&M? You said that was their third loss, right?
That's Auburn's third loss, and then the next week's going to be an automatic win, Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I got them winning that one. And then the following week, the game to beat all games, the Iron Bowl, this year being played at Bryant-Denny. I'm gonna go with a lot. No, you know what?
Uh-oh. Won't he do it?
I'm sorry, Alan. I can't do it. Nick has an axe to grind this year, and we all know what happens when Nick Saban has an axe to grind.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So I'm gonna give that one to Bama because there's no way that Nick Saban is going to take a second consecutive loss.
Yeah, I'm with you. Could you imagine how many laps or how early that they had it? Nick Saban had them boys up early running after the four overtimes. I bet he got them up early.
Probably. You miss a block, you run a mile.
Yeah.
You drop a ball, you run a mile. You fumble a ball, I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. Perfection. That Denzel two-finger thing he does all the time. That's my favorite quote from the whole movie.
That's awesome.
My favorite quote from the whole movie. So based on what we got here, it's looking pretty good for old Coach Harsin here. Oh, I haven't said
You guys say A&M.
I haven't said A&M. I'm gonna go ahead and go with a loss. I'm gonna go with a loss. But even then, based on what I've got them at 8-4, which is a vast improvement from the previous year.
Sure.
A vast improvement from the previous year. That would be an 8-4 record. That would almost guarantee him a bowl game. You're an SEC team with an 8-win record. You're getting a bowl game. Period. That would be enough to save Coach Harsin's. That would be enough to save his tenure at Auburn. So that's what we got here, ladies and gentlemen, for the schedule for Auburn this year. We got them going 8-4. We got them winning against Mercer, San Jose State, Penn State, Missouri, LSU, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Western Kentucky, losing to Bama, A&M, Ole Miss, and UGA. Now, the season may come and we may be proven wrong, but that's what we're going with right there. Colin and I are in lockstep right down the line. Mr. Sean Spencer says he's got them losing to Penn State, got them winning against Georgia. So we shall see what we shall see. We shall see what we shall see. That is pretty much what we got on the lineup for Auburn this week, ladies and gentlemen. We do appreciate you tuning in. But before we go, we do want to give a shout out, of course, to our other two sponsors, GreekGans.com. I don't have the graphic for them. We're trying to come up with a cool graphic for them like we have for everybody else. Their graphics will be back, ladies and gentlemen. GreekGans.com and EnvisionSocialMedia.com. Thank you two also for being sponsors of This Week in SEC Football. But we can't go another further. One of our commenters today, he watches every single show. As a matter of fact, he tries to pop in for at least 5 to 10 minutes on every single show that's on the air, whether he's a cast member or not. He's always in the comments. Sometimes through the entire show, he goes back and watches them and rewinds and reviews. He's probably clipping some of this show as we speak to use as ammunition against me, like I like to do for him. But that is none other than Sean Spencer, who is the godfather of Let's Talk Football. Janae Struther is the godmother. Together, they are the brain trust that started Let's Talk Football, which branched off into the wonderful family of Let's Talk Football shows. And if you are watching us right now, this is not the only show in the Let's Talk Football family. What shows are on there, Fingers? I'm glad you asked. Why don't you just hang back and watch?
Very nice.
Sir,
That's
right
good
there. That's courtesy of Mr. Sean Spencer himself. This man has become a promo designing guru. He's actually even got us started on some of our own. But that is the entire Let's Talk Football family of shows, not to mention our brother and sister shows that you also can check out. That'd be North Sports Dynasty, Buck Report, and This Week in NFL Edition. We get over to some of these comments real quick before we move to our closing segment. I don't know why. For some reason, the comments that are slow to pop up today. Y'all bear with us a second. You know, there's never a I used to host a podcast many moons ago called Quiet on the Set, and it was not a Quiet on the Set show unless Auburn was 6-2 before going on a 5-game losing streak, but his team has a locker room full of guys that's bought in on Coach Harsin's system. That is a very true statement. You said they beat Penn State and beat Penn State and Georgia and lose to Arkansas. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Alan, this is my first time here, but I shall return. Thank you so much, Alan. Make sure you share this with your people. Whatever, if you're in a group somewhere, SEC group, share it and let the people know to come on through. So we appreciate you stopping through to see us today. Mr. Spencer, as always, you know we appreciate you, bruh. So we're going to get into our final segment of the show. It's a little something where we jump in and we just give our thoughts on different things that are going on. Sometimes it could be serious. Sometimes it can be silly. It's called the 2-minute warning. Today, I've talked about a lot of things like self-care and looking out for other people and making sure you check in on your people and make sure that they're doing well, taking care of yourself. Today, I just want to talk about food, man. You saw the wings I made yesterday.
Yep. That's all.
For those of you that do not know me, I love to cook. I will get on the grill. My wife got me a Traeger a couple of years ago, so now I'm real heavy into smoking stuff. Like we've done pizzas and veggies, and I've turned the smoker on and run it for 20 minutes just to smoke some onions to put on a hamburger. That's how deep I get into the whole thing with my smoker. I love to cook. my point is that, you know, sometimes you have an outlet, and if it's something that you enjoy doing, just do it. Just do it for the sake of doing it, not because you want, not for likes, not because you want somebody to go, oh my god, this is delicious, not because you want somebody to brag on you. Just do it just for the sake, for the joy of doing it. I played the piano when I was little, when I was younger, and I had more spare time. I used to sometimes just go in there and sit down at the piano and play for hours, and my pops would just come and sit on the piano and listen while I played. My mom would be in the kitchen fixing dinner, singing. My sister would be like, "You was playing the piano, and I'm trying to watch TV." But you know, but if you got a hobby and you love it, do it. You know why? Because if you don't and you lose it, sometimes it's hard to get it back. You know what I mean? Like
That's very true.
I don't play for 2 or 3 hours at a time anymore, so I don't have that dexterity to be able to do it. But I still do enjoy playing. So if you got something you enjoy doing, just do it. I know I said I was talking about food. I'm thinking right now, while I know my sweet and sour pork is getting a little cold, but yeah, find yourself. You know, if you got a hobby, do it and do it well. You know, whatever you dancing, singing, painting, whatever one of them crazy hobbies you picked up during the pandemic when we were all in temporary timeout. Uh, you know, that kind of thing. So just don't let anybody take anything away from you if you have a hobby that you love, because that'll be something that'll carry you when you're, you know, not feeling so great. That used to get, man, I never forget. I used to play. Look, I never forget. This girl broke my heart, and I in high school, and I was just all weepy eyed, and I would just go in and sit down and play. There's a song by the Force MDs back in the 80s called Tender Love. I would just play Tender Love and sit there at the piano and cry. Here I lay all alone, toss and turn and yearning for some of your tender love. My father come in and go, boy, if you don't get up the damn piano in here crying over that girl.
Okay,
But it got me through. It got me
Yeah.
through. It got me through. Oh, bro, I meant to show you this. This is not part of the Zagnif apparel line. I just found this website, and you probably seen it pop up to you where you can get the custom made baseball jerseys.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is the one that I got for myself right here.
Oh, very nice.
It's
like
in the
that.
it's in the black and gold and the fraternity colors, and then on the front, because it's not buttoned up. Damn it. See, I got to show out now. Now, this is not part of the Zagnif apparel line, but I can definitely hook you guys up with the link if you guys want to go and get you one. Now, it's since they're custom made, everything you have added to it, it starts at a base price of $20-something, and everything you add to it winds up being more. This wound up being like $45 plus the shipping. But
It's
you know,
really bad.
I got it, which just says Zagnif and the custom on the front.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely bringing this to Virginia.
Most definitely do that.
Yeah. So what you got for me on the 2-minute one, and man, what you got on my 40, Craig?
I'm actually on you with that. You're speaking to me a lot lately. Just out of nowhere, it's coming to me. Like you talking about the thing, hobbies and whatever. I used to play golf a lot. You know, the pandemic hit, kind of lost. Haven't played golf in about, probably about 2 years or so. I used to be all about going on the weekend, going and play golf. Something I need to get back into because I enjoy playing golf, and I haven't done it in a long while actually. But yeah, definitely trying to get back into hobbies and different things that I like and need to get back into doing them. But I did want to say that I had the first, like I already said, do the show. I mean, I got the first time to meet Mr. the Shout Out King, and
Right.
had an awesome time with him at Johnny Ray's. And I was gonna tell you, he had it was a buffet, so you'd have been in heaven. I mean, he had like
Yeah.
buffet wings. and all
Hog
kinds of stuff.
heaven. Bro, I
That's
haven't
right.
had John. Look, don't mess with me. I had Johnny Ray's in 4 years.
Oh, it was good. But he had that for
We
his
might have to
birthday.
make wait. We might have to make a trip out there.
Oh, we can do that for sure.
I'm in town for 3 days. I already said I'm going to the barbecue wing place over in Centerville, a Korean barbecue place. Sadly, I'm going to have to pass on Honey Pig because I don't want to spend $100 on Korean food. But I'm going to Honey Pig.
Yeah, but
I'm definitely going to Yorkshire down in Manassas, and we got to hit Johnny Ray's.
absolutely, we'll definitely do that. But Yeah, no, it was a pleasure meeting Janae and Sean and some other friends. His friends or their friends there, and definitely can't wait for you to come down here and hang out with us. You were only missing piece, dude. You were only missing piece that night.
Well, bro, we're gonna try and make that happen. We're gonna definitely make that happen. I know at least Sean and Kat said they were coming out. I hope to get to meet Janae face to face. We know that Janae is building a family right now, so we don't know what that schedule is gonna be like. I don't know how far out that is, but we'll at least maybe just try. If it ain't nothing but to dap up and get a picture, so that's what we got. Looking forward to it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does it for this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. We do appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to hit all the socials up at the top. The Zagnif Productions, Zagnif 1 on YouTube, the Zagnif 1 streaming network on Facebook. Then we've got, let me take the 2-minute warning away, hit the Patreon page, drop us $1 or $2. Stuff like that goes a long way. We buying equipment, doing giveaways, things of that nature. You can visit the Etsy shop, get yourself some really cool gear. If you want some podcast merch, we got that too right there. tinyurl.com/ZA podcast merch. We got t-shirts for the show. We got cups. We got all kinds of stuff. Cups and coffee mugs. So we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday. We did take a break on Monday because it was the missus's birthday last Monday. So we only did one show last week. We're returning to the 2 weeks. This week, we just wanted to get in the team of the week. On Thursday, we're going to jump back. We're going to go back in time in the DeLorean, and we're going to talk about SEC Media Day, other than Vanderbilt's coach saying that they were going to be the best coach in college football in time.
And beat everybody.
I'm just saying. When he said that, everybody in the room went just like this. Right?
Yep.
So anyway, we're going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just now catching us, just hit the rewind button and go back and catch the replay. It'll be up on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for you to view. There'll be snippets up. So make sure you check us out because you might miss something if you're not paying attention. And in the words of the immortal narrator from the Beverly Hillbillies, y'all come back now, you hear? In the meantime, between time, we'll see you next week. We'll see you on Thursday. Go Dogs.
Hey, go Dogs.